ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
It's not the worker's fault. Leave them alone. They're there just to do their job.
Confusion over mask use continues as California announces it won't lift mask mandates until June 15th, and the county is abiding by that mandate. Last week, the CDC announced fully vaccinated people could go without their masks. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. As our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo shows us, one local doctor thinks that waiting one more month will be helpful in the long run.
The doctor says waiting until June 15th will give more people the chance to be vaccinated and businesses the time to prepare. It was supposed to signal that life was getting back to normal, but instead, the CDC's guidance announced last week that fully vaccinated people can lose the mask in most indoor and outdoor settings is creating a lot of confusion.
People were coming in the stores and haven't been told to wear the mask where they weren't before. They were wearing them.
Monday, California public health officials said not so fast, announcing they won't lift mask mandates until June 15th. Dr. Christian Ramers, an infectious disease specialist at Family Health Centers of San Diego, says waiting was the right thing to do.
What we don't want to have happen is that we go too open too quickly and then end up with additional outbreaks. It's really hard to walk things back once you've opened things up.
For business owners like the CEO of Fit Athletic Club, Scott Lutwack, following the rules means more losses.
Of the members who have frozen their membership, the number one reason is the mask.
Dr. Ramers says 99% of the COVID cases he's seeing are in unvaccinated individuals.
And I'm worried that people are going to misinterpret this as being the pandemic is over. It is not over. 600 Americans died yesterday from COVID.
For essential workers like grocery store employees, it means another month making sure people know and follow the rules.
It's not the worker's fault. It's not their fault. Please wear the mask if you're asked. Leave them alone. They're there just to do their job.
Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
The county reported an amazingly low 47 new cases today, while our test positivity rate held at just 1%. No new deaths were reported. That is typical on a Monday, so that number remains at a little more than 3,700. A local company is entering a new phase in the race to develop a vaccine against future coronavirus variants. Inovio Pharmaceuticals is working on a vaccine that can protect against the current coronavirus and variants and the ones still to come. It works by combining information from thousands of coronavirus sequences from 9 different countries. And the plan is to use it as a booster.
What we're hoping is that because it's going to cover a lot more of the viral strains, that maybe it could be used to kind of top up the immunity that you've already got.
So far, testing has only been done on mice and hamsters, but the company hopes to start clinical trials on humans this summer.
New at 11, some residents in Del Mar are fighting the North County Transit District's plan to create a fence along the railroad tracks above the bluffs. ABC 10 News reporter Rena Nakano examines why some residents say a fence is not the answer.
It's a years-long debate about the safety of a beautiful but dangerous portion of the coastline at the Del Mar Bluffs. The North County Transit District, which operates the rails here, wants to make it safer.
Bert's got a picture of the Del Mar fence here.
Monday night, the Del Mar City Council heard the issue. Last June, NCTD hired a consulting firm to assess the risk of trespassers and found that there were 33 pedestrian strikes between Del Mar and Oceanside from 2015 to 2019. In the worst areas in Del Mar, there were 11 deaths. Their answer, build a 1.5 mile long 6-foot chain link fence atop Del Mar's bluffs to block out trespassers.
They play up the safety thing, very big, but the reality is it's all about liability.
Frank Stonebanks, who leads Citizens for Access to Del Mar Beaches, Bluffs, and Trails, despises the plan.
Terrible idea from just a pure urban design and pedestrian perspective. It blocks evacuation routes in the case of fire.
Members in this group also argue that the fence will ruin the landscape, lower property values, and can even pose a new danger.
From a safety perspective, maybe not the way they're looking at it, but if someone actually then tried to go to the beach and got stuck, they're going to get hit.
A Change.org petition to put an end to NCTD's minimum $2 million fencing plan has more than 5,500 signatures. Members of the Del Mar City Council will bring the city's vote to the NCTD's board meeting on Thursday, but Stonebanks hopes it doesn't get to that point.
Our hope is it's going to come to a full stop on Thursday.
Rita Nakano, ABC 10 News.
We also reached out to the North County Transit District for a comment on this story. They were unavailable tonight.
Growing pressure tonight for Israel and Hamas to end the violence in the Gaza Strip. President Biden is now adding his voice to calls for a ceasefire. Israel launched another round of air strikes Monday. They say they are now targeting tunnels used by Hamas to carry out attacks. More than 200 Palestinians have been killed and 1,400 wounded, including women and children. Hamas has fired thousands of rockets into Israel, but the Iron Dome defense system is blocking the majority of those. 10 Israelis have been killed with 300 wounded. Hamas says it will not negotiate a ceasefire until Israel stops the airstrikes.
The Supreme Court is set to hear a Mississippi abortion case challenging Roe versus Wade. The case concerns a Mississippi abortion law passed in 2018 that bars abortions after 15 weeks with limited exceptions. A federal judge struck down the law, and an appeals court upheld the judge's ruling. This case will likely be argued in the fall, with a decision coming down in the spring of 2022. And it could present a direct legal challenge to Roe v. Wade, that 1973 decision legalizing abortion nationwide.
Legendary trainer Bob Baffert is being suspended from entering horses into races in New York, and that would keep him out of the next month final leg of the Triple Crown at Belmont. This comes after Medina Spirit won the Kentucky Derby and then tested positive for a steroid. Baffert says he believes the substance was in an antifungal used to treat the horse's dermatitis. The Kentucky Racing Commission is investigating and could strip Medina Spirit of the win. New York's Racing Association says Baffert is suspended pending the Kentucky investigation.
A former friend of Congressman Matt Gaetz is pleading guilty to 6 federal charges. Joel Greenberg took a plea deal today, admitting that he paid a 17-year-old girl for sex. The tax collector has pledged to cooperate fully with investigators who are looking into whether Congressman Gaetz also offered gifts and cash in exchange for sex with minors.
Does my client have information that could hurt an elected official? I guess this is just, must-see television. You'll just have to wait and see.
Gaetz, a close ally to former President Donald Trump, denies he's engaged in any illegal conduct. He says he's being framed by political opponents.
And there are new claims against Microsoft founder Bill Gates just 2 weeks after his wife filed for divorce. According to the Wall Street Journal, Microsoft's board of directors began investigating Gates back in 2019 for an alleged prior relationship with a female employee at Microsoft. The board reportedly hired a law firm to investigate, but Gates resigned from the board in March of 2020 before the probe was complete. Gates' spokesperson said today the claim of Bill mistreating an employee is false.
Tonight, the Los Angeles Police Department is investigating rapper T.I. and his wife over allegations of sexual assault. 2 women claim the rapper and his wife, Tamika Tiny Harris, drugged and sexually assaulted them in 2005. They have now filed separate police reports in Los Angeles and Nevada. Back in March, an attorney who represents these women and several others called on prosecutors in Georgia and California to investigate allegations against the famous couple. T.I. and his wife have denied the allegations.
The U.S. is investigating a second suspected case of mystery syndrome. It's right near the White House. Sources tell CNN that the episodes affected 2 National Security Council members. And the first was reported the day after the November election. The other was several weeks later. Both people suffered sensory issues and physical symptoms similar to what more than 100 U.S. spies, troops, and diplomats have experienced. The mystery has been nicknamed the Havana Syndrome.
Now for a hero dog that is positively San Diego. A Great Dane named Mia is recovering tonight at her Oceanside home after taking on a rattlesnake. 2 weeks ago, Megan Montano was in her backyard kneeling down when she saw the snake about a foot away. But instead of attacking her, that snake bit Mia.
I am blessed that she literally pretty much put her body in between me and the snake, in which she got bit right here on her lip.
Mia's lip swelled up and Montano rushed her to the vet. Fortunately, she got antivenom just in time, and the dog is now doing well. The rattlesnake, which was likely a juvenile, was captured the day after the bite and then relocated.